main. As we get ready, Steve Evans, to go with the fourth heat, and we've got some hot shoes in this one.
Oh boy, this is just loaded with heroes. Back in row number 2, there is the rebuilt overnight red number 6 car of Bobby Davis Jr., the yellow 40 of Doug Wolfgang alongside him, Sammy Swindell back in the 3rd row in the beautiful black number 1. Now Wolfgang's crew was busy too, Brock. They broke a crankshaft leading the feature yesterday, so a new engine has been installed in the yellow number 40.
And let's not forget Rocky Hodges in the orange 23. He was in that tango with Bobby Davis Jr. They repaired his race car as well. So Rocky, always a contender out of Des Moines, Iowa. He is going to be a factor here. On the pole from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, is Andy Hillenberg in that pretty black number 2, one of the up-and-coming young drivers on this outlaw circuit.
All right, we've got to start. Sammy Swindell swings wide coming out of that 3rd row, but it's Andy Hillenberg in the black number 2 car that leads him out of turn number 2 behind him from Indiana, the white number 3 car of Joe Garrity.
Okay, Hillenberg leads it down the back chute, but look at this. Hodges splits the seam between Swindell and Wolfgang to take over the 4th spot.
Wolfgang trying to get down low, and he just loses it into the infield. No apparent damage to the car. He'll try to get back into this, but boy, his chances may be rough, Brock. He may be headed for the consolation if he's going to make the feature at all. And here is the race for 2nd place. The number 6 car, Bobby Davis Jr. on the inside. The white 3 machine of Joe Garrity. But we have got a yellow flag. The caution is out because stalled right under the starter's stand on the front straightaway. The number 12 car of Steve Perry from Dallas in a very precarious position. A wise choice of the starter to get the yellow out. That brings everybody down. Let's remember, there's 10 laps of racing in these heats, but the yellows do not count. Doug Wolfgang, is this a break for him, Brock?
It sure is. See, he was parked in the infield off turn number 4. This will give him a chance to get restarted. And let's take another look at that rare bobble of Doug Wolfgang in turn number 4. There you see that yellow number 40 just getting loose and now diving down through traffic. That is Bruce Moore out of Moline, Illinois, in the 2X that almost collects Doug, but he slides free of everybody and just kind of drives to a halt in the infield. And as you said, Steve, if Perry hadn't brought out the yellow, I'm sure he'd have stayed stalled throughout the heat.
Here's how they'll restart. On the point will be Andy Hillenberg in the black number 2, the white 3G car of Joe Garrity in 2nd, Rocky Hodges in the final transfer spot in the 23S car, and they should be racing coming out of turn number 4. Indeed, they will be. Some go high, some go low, some stay in the middle. This has become a double groove racetrack.
Now remember now, the interesting part is Wolfgang, Swindell, and Bobby Davis Jr., none of them are in the transfer spots at this point.
There is Bobby Davis Jr. in the 6 car. Wolfgang trying to make up for the time he lost with that spin into the infield, and Wolfgang not coming in quite so hot this time.
No, he takes the bottom line way down on the bottom on the inside of the racetrack. There is Sammy Swindell going around Garrity, and Bobby Davis Jr. tries to follow him. There is Swindell in that black number 1 through turn number 3, and Davis way up high off of 4. Good race for 2nd here.
And the whoop is howling. Doug Wolfgang in the 40 car is back in the 6th position. Sammy Swindell has got 2nd, Joe Garrity, and Garrity now is falling back, Brock.
Right, there goes Bobby Davis Jr., there comes Rocky Hodges, and then orange 23, and that is Swindell chasing down Andy Hillenberg. Those 2 black cars leading this heat here.
And in the 3rd position, that all-important 3rd place, is that red car staying low in turn number 2, Bobby Davis Jr. Rocky Hodges now is the next to challenge for the 3rd position, and Wolfgang is moving up just behind Hodges. That'll put Wolfgang in the 5th spot.
Right, he's going to try Hodges low, apparently. Wolfgang back in it after that bobble that almost put him on the sidelines. Rocky stays up on top through 1 and 2. The racetrack is starting to get 2 grooves all the way around it now, Steve.
Indeed, there's Doug Wolfgang riding the high side on the push, as they say. Hodges down low. Wolfgang kind of tries to slingshot out of turn number 4. Does pick up some ground. Now he goes low. Right where you need to be in 1 and 2. And maybe still a bit high as Rocky Hodges, but Hodges so far is holding off the whoop.
All right, Wolf down low on the bottom through turn 4. Hodges high. Wolf has got a shot at him down into turn number 1. Will he get underneath him? Here is the race for 2nd spot. Bobby Davis Jr. takes it from Swindell.
A pair of Memphis drivers battling it out. Now Sammy Swindell going to try to pull up a payback here if he can. Bobby Davis getting high. Swindell staying right in the middle of the racetrack. Everybody seems to have a different line now.
You're right. In the meantime, this brawl for 4th continues. Wolfgang on the bottom. Rocky Hodges up on top. Down the back chute. Hodges holds off Wolfgang pretty effectively. Now Hodges goes low through turn 4. The Wolf down right at the final lap unfolds. There's the Wolf, and there is Andy Hillenberg taking it flag to flag. No problem for him, but the rest of the field, they just banged on each other the whole way.
So Oklahoma native Andy Hillenberg in the beautiful black number 2 car wins the final heat. Coming up next, the very unique Fram Dash. Stay with us from the Oklahoma Showdown. This certainly was Will Rogers' most famous quote. "I never met a man I didn't like." It's inscribed on his memorial in Claremore, Oklahoma. Rogers was killed August 15, 1935, near Point Barrow, Alaska, along with famous aviator Wiley Post. Being a native Oklahoman, I'm sure Andy Hillenberg, who won heat number 4, is very familiar with the Rogers lore. Brock Yates is in the pit area with Andy now.
You've run here a lot, Andy. You're from just down the road in Broken Arrow. Is this racetrack inclined to behave well on a cold day like this?
Well, I've run here. I've probably been around it as many times as anybody, and at night it's a good racetrack. They water the top and iron it in, after about halfway through, and it comes in real good. I saw they tried it today. Looked like the track was a little bit too hard, so it's going to end up looking like be a pole running racetrack. Probably not much passing.
Well, let's hope you're up on the pole then.
Yeah, I'd like to be, but I don't know how far out there I'll be.
Well, good luck. Good job anyway. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Steve?
Well, coming up next, Brock, is the race that will determine who's on the pole. This is the Fram Dash. 7 laps of racing, 6 cars. The top 2 heat qualifiers from today and the top 4 A feature finishers from yesterday.
And we've got some real hard riders in here. Jack Hoddenchild and Mark Kinzer on the front row. Bobby Davis Jr., Jeff Swindell in row 2. And in the back row, Steve Kinzer and Kenny Jacobs in the red 56. Kinzer, of course, the winningest sprint car driver in modern history, coming down in that familiar blue and white number 11. And we've got a start here. Hoddenchild down low, jumps off the pole to take the lead.
Jeff Swindell slings the blue number 10 car sideways and almost tangles with Mark Kinzer. He's trying to get into that second spot, and he's going to do that. Kinzer falls back into third.
So we've got Jack Hoddenchild, Jeff Swindell, and Mark Kinzer coming right back at him as they come off turn number 4, but he can't make it work, and Jeff hangs on to that number 2 spot.
As they finish in the Fram Dash, so will they start the A feature today. There is Jeff Swindell in the second position, the blue. Oh, and Steve Kinzer, the 8-time world champion, is stopped on the racetrack. That may bring out the yellow.
All right, they are. They've thrown the yellow, so we're going to slow it down while the champion, the man who has won more sprint car races than anybody, is sitting in the middle of turn number 2. Well, we don't know what the matter with Steve Kinzer's number 11 is, Steve, but you got to speculate something seriously wrong. He sure didn't hit the kill switch.
No, you can bet on that. He didn't spin, he didn't hit a wall, he didn't hit anybody. Let's see if they're going to restart that car or
push him back into the pits. Yeah, we'll see right now whether or not. I'm sure Steve will try to restart, but we'll instantly find out whether they aim him at the pit lane or whether they try to push him on around the racetrack.
Well, this would mean that in the A feature, if indeed he's going off the racetrack, he could not start any better than 6th.
That's right. And he is going off the racetrack. So, as we suspected, something is broken in that car number 11, and that is a disaster for Steve Kinzer, as Jack Hoddenchild, Swindell, Kinzer, the other, his cousin, Mark Kinzer, sits in the 3rd spot. We're going to get a green again as Jeff Swindell goes low, Hoddenchild high off turn 4.
So it's the Ford-powered car, the Blue Machine number 10 with Jeff Swindell in the 2nd position. Look at Hoddenchild just viciously sliding that car through 1 and 2. Jeff Swindell comes right up on his push bar.
These are 2 of the most aggressive young drivers in all of sprint car racing. Jeff down low, Hoddenchild high, as we watch that race for 3rd place. That is Mark Kinzer in the 6R. Right behind him, Kenny Jacobs in the red 56. Sawing on that wheel as he comes off turn 2.
In the race with the lead, the 18 car of Jack Hoddenchild going high is Jeff Swindell, the blue number 10. And Brock, we see no wing movement on these cars. They are adjustable from the cockpit. There's busy driving.
Well, we've got a pretty healthy crosswind here, too, so I'm sure they've set the wings to stay all the way around this short racetrack as Hodgchild pitches his number 18 sprinter into turn number 3, off turn 4. Jess Wendell staying up high, but it doesn't seem to be working. Notice that Hodgchild's riding right in the middle of the racetrack. We've got a good groove, a blue groove, laid down a lot of rubber on this track, and now Jack is driving away from Jeff.
Now Jeff goes out onto the cushion in desperation, I think more than anything else, Brock, trying to find some way to hook that car up. He has been spinning the tires viciously. Right here, you can see the tires just spinning on that blue groove racetrack.
And Mark Kinzer now moving in a little bit on Jeff Swindell in that third spot. So Mark has broken clear of Kenny Jacobs back there and is now trying to challenge Jeff Swindell for number 2.
Jack Hodgchild, the leader in the 18 car, is on the last lap. Just behind him is Jeff Swindell, the Ford-powered blue car, the number 10 machine, and that is
Mark Kinzer, and he better... Oh, look at that. Mark Kinzer, beautiful move on Jeff Swindell into turn number 3. Jack Hodgchild wins it, but Mark Kinzer drives by Jeff Swindell to take the runner-up spot on the final corner. Okay, Jack Hodgchild wins it, but the big story is Steve Kinzer, who retired. Steve is at his pit.
Brock, what you're looking at is the quick change in the differential of the number 11 car. Steve Kinzer rolled it in here, shrugged his shoulders. He said, it made no noise, guys. I have no idea what the driveline problem is. They're trying to find out, and that's the first place they're looking. And certainly no better crew to solve this mystery than the one led by Carl Kinzer out of Bloomington, Indiana, as they continue to check over this car, continuing to look at the drivetrain and that quick change rear end section. As far as the Fram Dash is concerned, well, here is the official results. Winning it, of course, in the 18 car, Jack Hodgchild second, Mark Kinzer, followed by Jeff Swindell, Kenny Jacobs, Bobby Davis Jr. That's how they'll start in the feature to come later on. Right now, let's go to Brock with the winner.
Well, Jack, you made it look pretty easy. You went high first couple of laps, then went down in the bottom, and the car looked really hooked up all the way.
Yeah, the car, the tires started getting warmed up, and the car started getting hooked up a little better, and we started going a little faster. The track's just getting a little blacker, and yeah, by feature time, they got a couple more races to run on it, and I think it's going to get pretty quick by feature time.
You going to make a lot of changes in the setup, or stay pretty much with it you got?
Well, we're pretty close. We'll just probably a couple small things, and I think we'll be pretty close.
You're looking real close right now. Congratulations. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
And now let's go to Steve with Mark Kinzer.
Well, Brock, this is a man, Mark Kinzer, who seemed to know where he wanted to start in the feature coming up. By finishing second in the Fram Dash, that's going to put you in the front row, right?
Exactly. What they do with the dashes is the way you finish your dash, the way you start in the feature. And with a track like it is today, Steve, you know as well as I do, you need to be right up there toward the front.
Absolutely, because passing is difficult. Not impossible, just a bit difficult.
Right, exactly. You got to wait for a guy to slide up a little bit, or maybe just, take the anchor out of it and put her up around the top side. And it's just really hard to pass, and you got to really take a chance to try to pass today.
We'll talk to you again before the feature. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mark Kinzer, excellent job at finishing second. But right now on the track, Steve, we've got the